What's up, guys? Based on cinema, back at it again. Today we have for you The Monkey. When twin brothers Bill and Hal find their father's old monkey toy in the attic, a series of gruesome deaths start. The siblings decide to throw the toy away and move on with their lives, growing apart over the years. I'm Jacob.
I'm Nick.
And for anybody who follows our channel, even though we're new, we apologize for the hiatus. We've just been working some things out in our personal lives. We're back at it. Going to be posted weekly once again, and going to have our daily 2 shorts every day. So if you've been looking out for us, thank you for your patience, and we're back at it with The Monkey 2025. And I think it's safe to say horror is making a comeback.
Oh yeah.
We talked about this a lot when Terrifier 3 came out, and Long Legs, and speaking of Oscar Perkins, but horror is becoming interesting and consistently interesting once again, and it's a very exciting thing to see. If you can't tell, I'm a bit of a horror guy. And,
Oh yeah.
Nick may not have posters in his room at the moment of horror things, but he certainly is the one who has influenced my love for horror the most. So this man has been showing me horror since I was young.
A wee lad.
A wee lad. So we got Oscar Perkins.
Go.
Knocked us out of the park with Long Legs. Definitely one of the better horror movies of the last decade, I would say.
Oh yeah.
I think you'd agree with me there, right?
100%.
Yep.
100%.
Nick Cage, probably one of his best roles ever.
Yeah.
And definitely...
Snubbed.
Oh, yeah. A little bit snubbed. Yeah, I'll say a little bit, yeah.
You got snubbed.
But The Monkey, definitely a bit out of left field, but it is a Stephen King interpretation placed on the big screen. Technically, Oscar Perkins here and Stephen King are the only writers that you could really say. But I knew nothing about this movie before it came out. I just knew that Oscar Perkins directed it, and I just wanted to see it. It's a bit of a dark comedy. But Nick, did you have any sort of interpretations before it came out? Did you see the trailer? What were your thoughts?
For me personally, I had only heard whispers in the nether that Osgood Perkins would be directing an adaptation of Stephen King's short story, The Monkey. And I had heard the story of The Monkey a few years back on one of the creepypasta YouTube channels. Like somebody read it, and but I don't remember a single thing from it though. So I was over here like, what the hell is this about? But just knowing Osgood Perkins was in the chair, director's seat, and it was a Stephen King story, I was hyped. And I was like, I don't know what's coming, I don't know what it is, but it's gotta be fucking lit.
Yeah, Oscar Perkins is definitely an interesting man. If you don't know much about him, he's actually he's been a bit of an actor. He's been in a bit of movies, to be honest. He's been in Nope. He was in the new Twilight Zone series. He was a very side character in Star Trek and the new Star Trek movies. But directing wise, if I can pull it up real quick, he has done only 6 works. His first one was The Blackcoat's Daughter, which me and Nick are a fan of.
Huge.
What did you say that The Blackcoat's Daughter tied in with? There's another movie that you said it tied with in something.
I'm trying to remember.
You said it was kind of like the same universe. I forget what it was though.
I'm blanking.
Yeah, it's something. Maybe
Oh,
it'll
it's
come
definitely
to you.
gonna be. I think it might actually be Long Legs.
Yeah.
Similar, maybe not the same, but possible.
Okay.
Just because of the way that he interprets demonic entities
Okay.
and how they work,
Mm-hmm.
it's very similar in both movies. So
Okay.
it's my little personal theory that it might be in the same universe.
Okay. He also came out with I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. Been wanting to watch that. Haven't seen it yet. As well as the newer Gretel and Hansel that came out in 2020. He did direct an episode of the Twilight Zone as well as acted in it, as I said before. And then Long Legs 2024 was the true breakout for him. And he has an upcoming movie called Keeper. Did you stay for the end credits of the
The
monkey?
monkey? I did not.
So there's a brief trailer for Keeper at the end,
Shit.
and it looks interesting. Looks
Shit.
it looks very intense from what I've seen. You know, Oscar has this thing about close-up shots. Like you see it in Long Legs, you saw it in this movie for sure. And when I saw Keeper, you have like 3 or 4 women in the movie,
Yeah.
and very, very, very brief teaser. Like you really have no idea what's going on, but a bunch like at the end of the teaser, it's just a bunch of faces close up screaming,
Oh shit.
and I was like, okay, Oscar, okay, you know, Long Legs, the monkey. Then I saw that teaser, I'm like, this. I think this could be in the middle. I think this could be in between the two. Granted, I know nothing about it,
Yeah.
and there's not much to know about it besides a synopsis on IMDb that reads: during an anniversary getaway at a remote cabin, a wife is left alone after her husband departs, only to confront a sinister presence that exposes the cabin's chilling past.
I'm excited for that.
That's gonna be interesting. I'm actually looking forward to it.
When does it
And
come out?
Keeper. While you look that up, I'm gonna go over a few actors very briefly. We have Theo James. Theo James, if you are familiar with the Divergent movie series, he was in the Divergent movie series. He was in The Gentleman, the TV series, I must say. He voiced Bastion in the 2024 X-Men 97 show. He was in The White Lotus, which I'm actually interested in watching. He's in The Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf, Castlevania, the show, The Witcher, the show. I think those are all audio, though. Was also in the Dark Crystal TV series. But he's he's very much known for the Divergent series. And I think I only saw the first one, but this is, I think, a good step in his career when it comes to kind of going into the general society and culture media. Because the monkey, I mean, they advertised the crap out of that movie. In Hollywood, you had like a bus. If you saw the movie, it's a quick spoiler, but like near the end, there's like a scene of like cheerleaders sticking their heads out of a bus, and then another car swipes them and knocks their heads off. And in LA, they were driving around a school bus with fake bodies decapitated with blood on the bus, so it just like as a good advertisement. It was pretty wild to see, though.
It was
pictures
pretty
of it.
sick.
Yeah, it was. Let's go through another one real quick. Tatiana Maslany, I want to say.
Yeah,
Forgive me if
Maslany, yeah.
Maslany. I like her. I like her
Do
as an
you?
actress. Yeah, I do. I know she was in She-Hulk. I'm not really interested in watching that. But I saw her in something else, and there's something about her acting in this movie that she just draws you to the screen.
He's great.
She has like a charm to her that is very identifiable, and it's really appealing. And I just really dug her vibe. She was in Stronger. I saw that about a year ago, and
That's with Jake Gyllenhaal?
yep, she was good in that.
Sick.
She was also in BoJack Horseman in one episode. Parks and Recreation.
Invincible.
Invincible. Thank you. Yeah, a bunch of TV, but I dig her as an actress. I just really like her, I guess, aura, I guess.
Oh, dude. She's going to be a executive producer on Keeper.
Ooh, okay.
Let's go. She's also in Keeper.
She's also Innkeeper. Okay. All right, so a couple more here. We have Colin Convery. I just exited out of his name. Cool. Again, me and Nick are a bit rusty here after being away for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Colin O'Brien.
Dude.
What's up?
What's his name in that movie? Corey Campbell from Halloween Ends.
Mm-hmm.
He plays the metal dude in The Monkey.
Oh, that's him?
That's him.
Oh, snap.
Dude.
What's his name?
Rohan Campbell.
Ryan Campbell. Oh, why he's not popping up on. Oh, here it is. I really dug his vibe in this movie. Like you could just see that he can't like see out of his hair, and there was just he just had like a charm to him as well. But yeah, that just wow. Okay, he played Corey.
Himself.
Yeah, he redeemed himself. I mean, listen, that wasn't his fault.
No, he redeemed himself. Redemption.
That wasn't his fault. That movie was
his
not
fault.
his
fault. It's his fault.
Listen, if he can't, okay, listen. Okay, if
he beat up an old man.
All right, listen, if David Gordon Green came to you, all right, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, it was like, I want you to play a main character in Halloween Ends, you would say yes.
I would ask what the character does. what in Tiles where I signed in a paperwork.
All right, fair, but hey, man.
If they told me straight up, oh yeah, you're gonna beat Michael Myers' ass, steal his mask, and start murdering people, part of me be like, dude, that's sick.
Right.
I could kick his ass, and then another part of me be like, no, I mustn't.
Halloween is like Nick's favorite movies franchise. But cool, it's good to see him in there. Colin O'Brien. Colin O'Brien played Petey. He's not in a lot. He was in Wonka. He played a young Willy Wonka. I haven't seen that movie yet. But he was in Grey's Anatomy. He hasn't really been in much either, to be honest. But
you played young Willy Wonka?
Yeah.
What?
In the new Wonka movie with Chalamet.
Timothée basically is a young Willy Wonka. Why the fuck?
I don't know. They needed a younger one, for
we
his
need
kid.
a younger one.
Yes. That's indeed.
Dude, I haven't seen that movie, but there's a reason why I didn't see it.
Yeah, me too. And then last and not least, Elijah Wood. Pretty much a legend in Hollywood. If you don't know him, he was in the Lord of the Rings movies, which is arguably one of the best fantasy franchises of all time.
Yeah.
When it comes to novels, 100%, and probably arguably cinematically, probably is one of the best fantasy franchises out there.
Not better than Flash Gordon, but we'll keep going.
He also was in Wilfred, which I used to watch a lot for some reason. I used to watch that when I was like...
So stupid, so funny.
I was like 12 or 13 watching Wilfred.
I think I introduced you to it, low-key. I think
it was you, to be honest. I think it was you. Yeah.
Like, dude, you gotta watch this shit. It's so stupid.
I think I tried to rewatch it recently, and then I started watching something else. Not that it wasn't good, it just something else caught my eye. But I tried rewatching it recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Sarah Levy, she played the aunt. But yeah, Oscar Perkins also played the uncle in this movie. I don't know if anybody could identify him, but he did play the uncle that took in the kids after the mom passed away. So let's get into this, man.
I almost didn't recognize him for a second, then I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the sideburns.
The sideburns.
It's the sideburns.
So let's
get
dive.
Into this, man. Let's dive into this, man.
Get in there.
So, I really wasn't expecting anything from this film. I was just going into it as a horror movie. I'm like, all right, cool. Fine with me. Let's see how this goes. And it was a bit surprising. It was kind of a combination of like Final Destination and... Let me think. What are some other combinations I can fit into this? Because it has a Final Destination element to it, where death is coming. When he hits his drum, when the drumstick goes down, death is awaiting very shortly.
Let's see, Final Destination and
it's gotta be something else.
Just fucking what's the name of the movie? Like a grindhouse type vibe.
Yeah, like definitely, yeah. I can't. I just thought about this earlier too, but it has a Final Destination element to it. And there has been a couple, cursed objects type of deal. And the thing about this movie is you don't really know the lore of the monkey. It just exists. All we know is that their father has a closet full of things that he would bring back, and he was a pilot. And we know that the father who I forgot his name, but he was in Step Brothers.
Adam McKay.
Adam McKay, yeah. Babe, Dane Cook, pay-per-view, 30 minutes, let's go.
Dude, look, you want to punch me?
It looks like you want to punch me in the face right now. You want to punch me in the face right now, but you won't. Do it. Punch me in the face.
Oh no, it's Adam Scott. He changed
Adam
his name.
Scott? Is that his name?
Yeah, did he change his name?
I got no clue.
It's bothering me now. I feel like I could have swore it was McKay.
Something I've heard McKay before. I know.
Right?
Yeah, I've heard McKay before.
Oh no, wait.
Adam McKay or something like that.
I thought his name was Adam McKay. Having Mandela effect moment?
There is somebody as named
There's
McKay in the movie, which I would assume is
one of the writers' names was Adam McKay for Step Brothers.
Okay, so you probably got that like switched up once when you're looking through it.
2 Adams.
Yeah, Adam Scott though, I like him.
Adam Scott.
So we know that he had the monkey. Some stuff went down. He was covered in blood, and he went to the shop to go take it back. And I guess he bought it from there. And even from the get-go, I kind of dug the way the acting was. I kind of liked the shop owner's acting. I don't know. There's something about his acting that was like suspicious but interesting. And I was kind of drawn to the movie right when it started. It kind of had the old film-esque text.
Yeah.
In the beginning, and you're seeing that a lot. I feel like when it comes to society and culture, what goes around comes around. You're finding a lot more people using actual film, or at least are making their films look like it was shot on film. The Terrifier movies, especially. Damien Leone has always had kind of a pattern with making some sort of like film essence come from his movies, and he'll kind of direct and go into the editing process with that in mind. And I love that about his movies. But you're seeing that a lot more now. Things are being shot on film, and people are making their films more vintage, and this film, at least the beginning credits, kind of has that feel as well.
Yeah, they're doing longer takes. They're doing the quick zoom ins and stuff like that from far away to people.
Yeah.
And it's like shit like that. It's just cool to see that unique style from this like 70s and the 80s brought into like modern filmmaking.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, one of the first times I saw that, I think, was The Strangers Pray at Night when we went to go see it in theaters in New York. And it's a scene where the daughter's outside pretending to smoke a cigarette because she's angsty. And the mom comes outside from inside the restaurant. And it's super far away. They're like over here. And the camera just starts slowly zooming in until they're basically this big in frame. And then it cuts to like another scene. But it was just cool because it was like a slow zoom in all the way to them having that conversation.
Yeah, I love that. So much of like the way new films are directed, it's kind of boring. And then you kind of have like a lot of handheld, and it kind of feels very soap opera-y in a sense. I think depending on the film, having handheld cameras is good for particular scenarios and good for certain reasons and feels and vibes, but it's certainly been overdone a lot in the past decade. And I think we're moving away from that a lot, which is good because, like I said, we're getting into this kind of vintage style of directing, and it's really appealing to me because there's something about the way that films used to be filmed, movies used to be filmed, and it just has this essence to it that just seems like it's from another world. But it's kind of how I feel about black and white. When you see a film shot in black and white, kind of what that does is it takes you into another world. And what I mean by that is if you have a film shot in color, it's too relatable. I'm not saying it's bad to shoot in color. I'm just saying that when you have a film that is shot in color, for subconsciously your mind is able to relate to it. So when you watch a film in black and white, it's more disassociating, and in fact, in my case, it keeps you locked in on the screen more because you're trying to place this environment and this world someplace in your psyche, but you can never truly kind of put a dial on it. It just it has more creative effectiveness in my opinion. You know, because again, you can't relate to black and white because we don't see in black and white. But it provides the ability for you to create a world for yourself and for the characters that you're trying to present and the story that you're trying to present. And it makes it more impactful in my personal opinion. I'm not sure how you feel about it, but I know you like black and white. I know you like noir. I know when when Logan came out and they had the noir version, you freaked out and you're like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Hopped on that shit immediately.
Yeah, I think that was one of that I think Logan was when they did that. I don't know. I feel like it inspired a bunch because
It's one of the first. I think wasn't. I don't know if it was one of the first, but it was definitely one of the few that did. I don't think it re-released in black and white, but took the initiative to try and be different,
hmm
and they released that cut.
right.
And I think like you said, it definitely enhanced the viewing experience. And then we saw that followed up with Zack Snyder's Justice League.
It's true.
Hmm.
Which I preferred. I preferred. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, if you prefer the Justice League that the studio came out with over this is the Snyder's. I mean, I think you have to
You're
rewatch
wrong.
just rewatch them both, and then
You should be castrated and thrown into a shell. I mean, yeah, just watch it again. You know,
just watch it again.
these new opinions.
Yeah, granted, it's like 4.5 hours long or something like that, but when you take a DC movie and you make it black and white, that alone is kind of controversial because like superhero movies are supposed to be so vibrant. They're supposed to show so much. Like when you see a superhero's costume, that's like a part of who they are as a character. It's so identifiable. You see the costume, like, oh my gosh, that's Superman's costume. This is Wonder Woman's costume. You know, then you put a black and white over it. Now you're really focused in on the characters more so, in my opinion. You know,
All the distractions are
washed
away.
are washed away. You know, you can still see that it's them, of course, but there's something about noir. There's something about black and white that keeps you dialed in. And this might just be me with my ADHD brain or whatever. But there's an essence to it that doesn't compare to color. I think if you take the monkey, put that in a black and white, I think it works better.
Ooh.
In my opinion.
Ooh.
If you look at all the scenes, all the shots, all the cinematography in the monkey, and you make it black and white, I think the kills would look better. I think the shots would look better. I think the essence would be better. I think it would play on the dark comedy even more so. Because you had this grimy look with the black and white, and you have the comedy element to it. And I think it would synchronize better with it, in my opinion.
I think you're right.
I think you could say that about a lot of films. I think maybe
'Cause
even
I'm looking-
Long Legs, even, for example. That might be very interesting if you made a black and white.
Oh wait, was it? No, yeah, that I agree with that. That'd be pretty sick. What movie was it that just came out? Macbeth with Denzel Washington. I think that was black and white.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And that was like I didn't see it, but from what I did see of it, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a modern film because the way it also shot very well.
Mm.
But like you said, there's when you're seeing things with color, you're it's not I don't think it's like an immediate thing for most people, but for me, I'm always like, oh, this could look so much better, like if they tweak the color like this, or the colors are a little bit more like this, or like this or that, you know, something there's always something you're critiquing in your mind. But when you take all the color away and then you just leave it in that black and white void of black, white, and gray, I feel like everything kind of blends together a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you get more of a laser focus on the actual story and the character as opposed to everything else surrounding them.
Yeah.
Because like when colors around, you're like, no, that sign's not supposed to be that color. That's not what that looks like in real life. Or like, oh,
Right.
why does the blood look like orangey? Like why doesn't it look like dark black red or something.
And when you see
like that,
blood in black and white, it's like, oh damn.
it's like, oh
It's
fuck,
like,
yeah.
It's like dark, and it's like, whoa. It kind of adds that element to a horror film or a slasher film. Like, listen, picture Halloween.
Why is that guy's skin like so blue and pale? Or something?
Right. That's true. I mean, look, you have certain like look at Terrifier, the first one. I'm not saying it should be black and white. I'm just saying like a lot of the color choices in that movie are interesting. And I think we discussed this before. I think it could just. I don't think it's necessarily a creative decision. I just think it's the environment that they were in, and it's what they kind of had to work with. Like you don't see those color palettes in the second and third movie, but then again, they're just totally different settings there. But let alone the budget was so much higher in the second and third movies. But I mean, think about Halloween, the first one.
Yeah.
Now make that black and white.
Ooh.
Like I would like that.
That would have been sick.
Right.
Dude, even if they did Halloween 2018 in black and white.
Yeah. I mean,
if they did that.
Yeah. Okay, listen. If you made the new trilogy black and white, it would have been better. It just would have been.
It would have helped the
it would have helped.
A little bit.
A little bit.
But a lot of the promotional art, even the promotional art, it's black and white. But
Yeah,
with,
like the face.
Just like red
the mask.
splatters and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that definitely would have made it like 10 times cooler.
Right. But when I think about black and white, I think about the OG Halloween. I think that would be very nice to see in black and white, just because why not?
We would have hire a colorist to color.
Yeah,
it.
I mean it's me and Nick had a short film called The Doc, and we made that black and white when we remastered
that shit,
and I love it. I just think the black and white.
It's clean.
It's clean, and I think you're taken into the world of the character more so than it was when it was in color. Because when it's in color, like they're just at a dock, they're at the Hudson, and they're just like on a waterfront. It's like whatever. But then you see it in black and white, and you have me narrating. You're able to be taken more into my world and my perspective on things.
Yeah.
Go check it out. Jersey Journals Productions, The Doc, remastered.
Link in the description.
Link in the description. I'll put it down there.
And at the end of the video.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, the monkey. I think it could have It could have had a very appealing feel to black and white, and I think, like Nick was saying, it just kind of keeps you locked into it. There's just something about it, and we've talked a lot about black and white for like 10 minutes, so we'll move on. But I was a bit taken aback by the dark comedy in this one because I thought it was like too much at first.
Yeah.
I just thought it didn't work. But as time went on, I kind of felt like all of the comedy in this movie was done to generalize point of views. What I mean by that is like when you had the scene of the first funeral and the priest, this young dude as this priest comes up and he's like, fuck.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. Like there's like, that was funny. But
why her?
Like,
why not you?
Like, why not you? Or you? There's an element to the comedy that works, and I think it's because it's meant to be a generalization of these people in life. So, I've grown up around a lot of priests, and compared to other priests I've met, they're different, in terms of other forms of Christianity. But I think when it comes to like people's inner monologue, I feel like that's what this movie did. It takes like the inner monologue of the characters and just kind of expels them out of their mind and puts them out into dialogue. So when the priest came up and he knows the situation and he sees this big crowd of people, it's like, oh, fuck. This just is what it is. Like, he's trying his best to just preach. It is what it is. Could have been you.
It is what it is.
Could have been you.
There's no accidents.
You get into an accident, but like that's not an accident. Even like the mom in the movie, like the way that she would speak and the way that she would address things, like, I don't go into your room anymore ever since I found that stiff sock. And he's like,
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah. But like the way that the dialogue is, and that's the only reason why the comedy and the writing style worked for me, is because after thinking about it, it was like they're just generalizing people's inner dialogues.
Yeah.
That's just the way that not the way I coped to enjoy the movie, But just by watching it go on and on, that's the way that I kind of grasped what Oscar was doing here. I could be wrong, but people are talking out loud to themselves. The brother, the evil brother, I should say.
Yeah.
He is consistently talking to himself throughout the entire movie. Consistently. Just the way the mom talks out loud, it's very blunt. Maybe it's just because it's the 90s, but even the way that she talked to her children, very blunt. Just the way the kids talk to each other, very blunt. And think about think about the scenes in the school. When he walks into like the locker room and the girls are there. Like, first off, why does he walk into the girls' locker room?
I don't know. I don't know if he did.
Maybe they were just there in the men's locker room, waiting for him. But they're like, so I heard you got a pants problem, and then they brought in the bananas and yada yada yada. But it was so generalized. It was done in such a generalized way with how bullying is. Yeah. They don't beat around the bush in this film when it comes to the dialogue and the writing. They don't beat around any bushes. It's very blunt, straight to the point. And like, this movie was only an hour and 38 minutes, including credits. I think if you didn't have the writing style it did, it would be longer, or just a worse movie.
Yeah.
It
was like, I think it was just the right amount of time.
Yeah, like, I don't think the movie should have been any longer or shorter.
And I think one of my favorite parts of it was cutting all the way to the end is just seeing, like, it's mentioned a few times, pale man on a pale horse and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then you see one of the four horsemen just chilling. And he's just there, like...
Yeah, so let's get into that a little bit. So the symbolism, I think, is very simple in this movie. And they address it once they find the monkeys. Like, you have, like, I forgot what the box said on top, but the bottom it said like life.
Yeah, like life.
And the quote unquote older brother, the doucher.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, I think you mean lifelike." He's like, "No, it says like life." And
yeah,
the whole point is that you don't know when death is coming. It's always unexpected. It's always, in a sense, an accident, but nothing is accidental because everything is supposed to happen the way it's supposed to happen. Not like everything is divine intervention, but just in the fact that it could happen to anyone at any time for any reason, anywhere. And that is what the monkey is supposed to encapsulate. And you have two kids who are going through trauma. Their dad left them, so they're fatherless, and the mom dies, the older one, witnesses his mother's death firsthand. Mm. And since then, he was messed up. Ever since that day, he was messed up. The younger brother, with the glasses, I forget the characters' names, but he wanted Hal. Yes, right? Is that it?
Hal and I forgot his brother's name. I just know Hal was like the main character.
Yeah, I'm looking at IMDb and like it's not popping up. I see young Hal.
It just lists the one because he plays two characters.
That's true.
Bill.
Okay. Yeah, mm-hmm. Bill. So Hal, like, wants his brother to die because he's like making his life miserable. And so, when you're a kid, I think to a degree, in some way, shape, or form, like, and I could be wrong about this, but because I can't remember even myself thinking this, but we're very vulnerable and gullible, and we want people to die. I can't remember myself wanting people to die when I was a kid, but it's not far-fetched, this scenario. You could have two siblings, one's like a total dickhead, and the other is not a dickhead, and they either or wants the other one to die.
Yeah.
And it's not a far-fetched scenario. And obviously Hal wants his older brother to die because he's making his life miserable, and he pictures dropping his mother's bowling ball on his head. And so he has the monkey and turns the key and hopes his brother will die, but the mom dies. And so he has to live with that guilt all his life, and that's trauma right there. The brother Bill witnesses it happen and figures out that the monkey's key was turned and that it had to be his brother. And so for the rest of his life, he, eventually takes the monkey from the well. I guess you don't really, I guess you really don't find out what happens to it after he takes it.
He takes it from the well, and the key's missing. No, he finds
Oh, he
the key
finds
in
the
the
key.
well.
The monkey was missing.
Monkey's missing, and then after
Right.
all the
It
years, he
teleports.
finally finds the monkey
Right.
and starts turning that fucking key.
Over and over and over again. And it just
And
goes. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, no, it's just, he sort of keeps doing that. It's like one kind of like ritual slash prayer to the
It
monkey.
sounds like a prayer, like a Catholic prayer.
Yeah, every time he twists it, because he's trying to kill one specific person, his brother.
Right.
Crazy.
Trauma will always remain until you find a way to move on from it.
Mm.
And these kids stay away from their family, and it's in the movie. It's because they know that the monkey is connected to their family. We don't understand why. We just know the father had it, but the idea of the monkey haunts them for the rest of their life, and so they stay away from each other. And you can kind of apply that to different scenarios in life, and why families stay away from each other, whether it's siblings, aunts, uncles, parents from their kids, kids from their parents.
Yeah.
But if there's trauma, if you see your family that is involved with the trauma, it brings things back, and so you disassociate from them, and you distance yourself from them, or you stick together, you deal with it, and you move on. That's not what happened here. They both kind of hate each other in a sense, and stay away from each other. Symbolism because of the trauma, and they're directly associated with it. But movie lore wise, because the monkey will always be around in a sense, and they don't know when it's going to pop up, and they know if they're separated, it's better. But technically, Bill was the one kind of trying to track it down for years. I think it was Hal primarily the one who was trying to stay away for as long as possible, but also it was because of the guilt, because he caused his mother's death.
Mm-hmm. He essentially just isolates himself from anybody he cares about.
Right, even his son. And if you think about it, that fathers who go through trauma can carry down the trauma to their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's like a generational trauma, like,
and that happens. It happens all the time.
yeah.
And you see that becoming self-evident. He only wants to see his son once a year. That's giving his son parental trauma in a sense. He's got this new stepfather, Ted Elijah Wood, who's hilarious in this movie.
Great.
He's I took your power. I took your power.
No, you don't have any power right now. No.
Right.
You can't just take my power.
So he's unknowingly sending down the trauma. Movie lore wise, he's trying to stay away from his son because he doesn't want to bring it to him. But at the end of the day, he's causing his own new trauma to the kid. And you can't escape the things that happened from the past that you have committed, and you can't also escape death. In this film, it just so happens that the two are intertwined. What you've done and what is going to happen. Yeah, that's like the primary symbolism, and of course you see, the pale horse with the pale man walking by, and you see Hal kind of just nod at him, just like acknowledging him, probably for the first time, really, just acknowledging death, like respecting death, because if anybody's not respecting death, it's Bill.
Bill's been abusing death.
Right. Hal is the one who's kind of been trying to move on in some way, shape, or form, but still wrestling with it, trying to ignore the past at the same time. And at this point, he faces death face to face, literally and figuratively. And he's like, all right, respect.
Yeah.
And that's when he's still in his car with his son. And yeah. And I don't know, do you have anything more to add when it comes to that metaphorical element or even the symbolism?
kind of what you said earlier. What goes around comes around
Mm-hmm.
in terms of Bill, because he was dishing out so much pain, so much death to all those people, and in the end, he's only met with one fate. I won't explain how, but I'll leave it there.
You don't want to
Yeah,
explain it, or just too much?
I'll just we'll get here,
All
we'll
right,
get here.
because we're
It's
kind
just
of free
crazy.
balling. We're kind of free balling here. So we don't
Yeah,
have. I don't have. If anybody has
balls are
watched our
free.
videos before, like I don't have a chronology. It's a new,
Chronology.
it's a new movie. I can't really come up with one. I couldn't really find one. It's not like the scripts are
Um,
out there for the taking.
yeah.
So if it's
Um,
related to this, just go ahead.
well, yeah, like the depths in this movie are just insane. They're really out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Almost unreal, unbelievably unreal.
Like the pool scene,
Um, the pool scene. You got this. There's um, there is a.
the shotgun in the closet.
It's really weird because it was like this girl going for a swim, but she's looking at how, like, while she's taking off her robe to go in the pool,
Mm-hmm.
she's kind of like doing like a thing, and I was like, fuck. And then we just see all like the monkeys like do hitting the drum and shit, and then we just see everything start fucking Final Destinationing,
Right.
and the wire hits the
The
hose,
water.
and the water from the
Yeah,
hose
yeah,
is
yeah,
going into the pool, and then as she gets up onto the diving board, he goes, no, 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 wait,
yeah.
and it's in the trailer. She just explodes into millions of pieces.
Yeah, I don't know how relatable that is in terms of like how
I
the
don't think it's.
body. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the only scene that really took me out of the movie because it didn't look. You could just tell it was blatant CGI. Like, of course it's CGI. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that. I'm just saying that the CGI didn't work as well as it could have. That's all. You
I
know.
think what took me out was at the end, but it was like a funny kind of taking me out. Um, was seeing them drive through the town and seeing all the people like either dead or currently dying
Right.
as they're driving through the town, and you just see a mother pushing like
And her
running with a
baby.
her baby carriage, and the baby carriage like areas is bursting
Yeah.
huge flames, and she's running going I was just like I was like just stop.
It's like you have scenes when the realtor goes to the house or whatever,
Hmm.
and she fiddles open the door, eventually gets it open, and the son's like, "Is everything okay up there?" He's like, "Yeah." And then they have a crime scene investigation. The CSI's there, and like whatever the hell they were. I think that's what it was. And the kid is like unfazed,
He's
and I
being a
think
dick.
the reason is it goes back to the symbolism
Yeah,
where like you could have a kid who's has some trauma because of his father, and he just wants love and recognition from his father, and nothing else in the world matters.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Nothing,
No,
nothing else.
literally, yeah.
Yeah, nothing else in the world that's occurring is going to face him as much as his father not wanting to be in his life is going to face him.
Because he straight up gave his dad shit in front of the cop. He's like,
Right,
oh, well, guess just go wait in the car.
right.
Like,
It's not just
like,
because he thinks
whoa.
like the situation's cool and he wants to be a part of it. He just wants to be with his dad.
He just wants to hang out with his dad.
It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter that that his dad soaked in blood and that a murder just or not a murder, but someone just died upstairs. Like
Meanwhile,
you
the
know,
house just like, oh my god.
yeah. That's what I mean. It's like it's meant to be blunt for a reason. Even like the cop, she was like, "Oh, like you don't want to go up there. It looks like what'd she say? Like spaghetti something."
Spaghetti, something at a place on like another day or some shit.
Yeah, something with spaghetti. I don't know.
She's just going off. She's like, yeah, it's fucked up up
Yeah,
there.
you can stay here, but I don't think you'd want to stay here. It's like spaghetti
Kind
something.
of messy.
Yeah, kind of messy. You know. Um, I don't know. The more I think about this movie, the more I like it.
It's good. I took Tiffany in completely blind, and she had no idea. She had only seen a poster. No idea what it was about. She was expecting like long legs or fucking Alien Romulus type of horror. And when I tell you she could not stop laughing this entire movie, smiling cheek to cheek, and just fucking at the end of the movie going, "What the fuck did we just watch?" And also going, That was so fun.
Right.
It made my night. Like I had an idea, but I didn't realize like, whoa, this is a black comedy. Like
Right.
I was like, damn. So I was also caught off guard, but not as much. But it was really refreshing to see that from a horror movie in terms of with somebody who had no idea at all going in blind. But yeah, she had a great time. She thought it was really fun.
It's funny
And
because go ahead. Sorry.
no, I think it's refreshing for people who are like wanting something new and fresh from horror, even though this isn't. I feel like this is a good introduction to that.
You have so many movies that try to be like this that are just bad. Like I saw a
Hmm.
trailer for a movie when I was watching this movie, or about when the movie was about to start. You know, the trailers, or whatever. But there was a
Hmm.
trailer for like a new camp horror movie. Did you see that?
I didn't.
At first, I thought it was like, oh my gosh, Sleepaway Camp remake. I was like, at first I was like, okay, Sleepaway
Hmm.
Camp, the remake, and then it wasn't. It
Yeah.
was like just a stupid teen, campy horror movie, and like the way they do comedy in that movie it's so unappealing.
What was the
You know,
name of it, you know?
I forget. I just forgot about it so easily because I was like, I'm never gonna watch that. Maybe we will just so we can crap on it, but I just
Yeah.
didn't. I did not want to see that movie. I was, but it was partially disappointed because I thought it was going to be like a Sleepaway Camp remake, but maybe we
That
could
would
do
have
that.
been better.
Maybe we could do that for a review. That would be
I'd be
fun.
down. I'd
Nick's
be
kind
down.
of Nick's kind of like, we Nick and I have like our own movie that will traumatize us for the rest of our life. For me, it was Tusk,
Yeah.
and for Nick, it was Sleepaway Camp.
That shit fucked me up a little, I'm not gonna lie.
I know, great ending, great
Yeah.
ending. Tusk, I can't say the same thing. It was pretty traumatizing. The ending, it's like so unfulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I'd be down to rewatch Tusk just for the hell of it for the review.
I'm down.
Yeah, I would do it because because Kevin James has his theater over here, and I really wanted to go see it when he showed it and screened it, but that thing sold out so fast. Yeah, but let's think here. I think I do like the first death we see in the shop with the owner. The harpoon.
What? I zoned out. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. The shop owner with the harpoon.
That was sick.
That was neat. I've
Like
never seen
this,
anything like that before.
and you see everything behind him, and then
Right.
it just goes.
And it just keeps going. I mean, it goes to show like the intestines are pretty long. You just don't realize
Dude,
it. They're
yeah.
huge. Yeah, it's
I
long.
remember in Terrifier 3 when she literally uses it, I think, to choke Art, or Art uses it to choke
Oh,
Sienna. He uses an intestine to choke her, and she has
yeah.
to bite through the intestine to escape.
Yeah.
So then he starts smacking her with the
Yeah.
intestine.
Let
Oh
alone he
shit.
was like using his the uncle's intestines as like a garland for the tree. He was like using it to
Yeah.
decorate the tree.
Yeah.
I actually
Speaking of
fun.
which,
Go
Killer
ahead.
Toys. Sorry. Speaking of which, Killer Toys, they released a I don't even know what it's called. It's like 45 seconds. It's literally just announcing that the movie's coming out. Megan 2.0.
Oh, I saw that. I hope they just make it R this time because the PG-13
Hard R.
version was just yeah. No, the
Hard R.
PG-13 version was just like whatever.
In movie terms.
Yeah, yeah. Movie terms. Any
Movie terms.
libs out there.
Yeah.
Um,
Sensitive
but
people.
sensitive people. High alert. Like, relax. Let's relax. All right. We
What'd
want
you
this
say?
movie, huh?
What was that?
I already forgot. Um, I forget.
But yeah, that'd be sick because the Megan R version on that you gotta buy to watch, was dope.
You
It
saw it?
wasn't. Yeah, that was the one I watched with Tiffany when she fell asleep. But the kills are better. There's not much that is enhanced, but it just feels like it's supposed to,
Right.
as opposed to like
Yeah. I
a
hope they make
washed
the new one.
down.
Very washed down.
But for the monkey, I will say this: the kid who played Young Hal, he did phenomenal. I think he played both roles. I'm pretty sure he played
I
both roles.
couldn't tell, but I think what I'm looking at on IMDb, it does seem like that.
Yeah, he did fucking great as both characters.
I agree. He kind of
And
knocked it out of the park.
Petey was cool. He was okay. Angsty teen. Um, their mom, Tatiana Maslany, dude, she, like you said, just something about her keeps you glued to the screen. You can't take your eyes off her. And
Right.
I'll be 100% honest here. A lot of people hated She-Hulk. A lot of people love She-Hulk. Most of it was negative stuff that we heard about. I watched it with Tiffany. I will say there's some scenes I don't like and or love, but overall, completely comic accurate. And she stole the show as far as acting and like performance because
Mm-hmm.
she is so likable, like
Right.
just as an actress, but
Mm-hmm.
as the character as well. So I'm gonna say if anybody's out there and they're hesitant or they've heard bad things about that show, and you have been keeping up with the MCU, give it a try. It's not as bad as everyone's saying. It's fun. It's a fun time. It's meant to be fun. Um, but yeah, Elijah Wood as Ted, insane.
I think the
And the
only
fact,
thing,
yeah,
about She-Hulk is like her twerking with Megan Thee Stallion.
it kind of came out of left field. I will say that. That scene was a left field.
That's not
It came out of
needed.
nowhere.
Get that out of
It
there.
was it was out of nowhere. It's 100% out of nowhere. I
You don't
think it
need
was
that.
mentioned. They mentioned it once. Like it was definitely foreshadowed, I think, in the
Okay.
show before it happened. So that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like completely random. But when it did happen and that scene happened, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wait, what the fuck is happening?
Right.
But um, it was funny seeing because we're talking about the father and generational trauma and like fatherhood passing down the trauma
Right.
to the sons. It was funny seeing Elijah would be like the guy who had books about being a good father
Right.
and be like, I have your power now. And then like on top of that, you have this guy who's like straight up being like, I will be the father, you will be gone.
Right.
And to a guy who's like actually a good father, but
It wants to be one.
just wants to be, just can't be because of like his trauma.
Right.
And the guy who wrote in 4 books can't realize that.
Yeah, but that goes to show people like that happens so much in life. Like
Yeah.
you have people who can sell things. You have musicians who could write things or make good music, but like just because they can get the appeal of somebody doesn't mean that they're good at it in a sense. Like yeah, he wrote books on being a father, multiple versions, multiple volumes. I think there's like he wrote like 7 of them or something like that. I think it
Yeah.
was like number 7 that I saw like behind him on his pedestal. But
You know what? Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that you're going to be a good one yourself. That's why people, you know, sometimes people could be good at talking about something, but it doesn't mean they're going to be good at it themselves.
hmm
You know, what were you going to say?
Um, it's completely different,
That's
not even
fine.
related,
Go
but
ahead.
it's like for me, as someone who wants to be in the film industry, and I know you have some like a couple like I don't know how much you're interested in it now.
I want to be creative.
I know you want to be
If it
creative.
happens, it happens.
If it happens, it
I'm
happens.
gonna, I'm gonna dabble.
If we were to create a film, I would not be making it for an award. I would not
Oh,
be
of course
making
not.
it to win anything.
Yeah, of course not.
Would receiving an award feel a little nice? Yeah,
Of
yeah. Who
course.
wouldn't want a reward?
Yeah,
To get an Oscar, I feel as though the Oscars themselves, since I first
of course.
realized what they were, have completely lost their worth in
A
my
lot of
eyes.
people it's lost. It's the appeal of the Oscars now has lost a lot of people's attention.
And it
The
still
viewership has
baffles
only
me.
been going down.
Yeah, and it still baffles me that a lot of the actors and directors and people in the industry now, as of now, not even like older ones, but new people, newcomers, are still trying to win those awards and they make movies for their awards. And not to talk shit, but Zoe Saldana was in a film. I don't know if you've seen it or heard of it or anything. She was in a movie called Amelia Perez,
Keep talking. I'll look it up. What's it called?
and it's about a man who becomes a woman.
What's it called?
Amelia Perez, I think.
All right, go ahead.
And I'm sorry for anybody who doesn't want to hear about this movie. So it's about a man who becomes a woman because he fakes his death to become a woman so he can get away from his wife. And then essentially the wife falls in love with somebody else and she wants to take the kids away from him. And he claims to be like an aunt, like a sister of himself. So essentially it's a whole movie about him getting a surgery, becoming a woman, and then like eventually taking the kids, trying to get the kids back so that he can raise them himself or have the family. And I'm just like I'm spitballing because I don't truly know. I haven't seen it. I haven't read anything. This is what somebody told me. And at the end of the movie, everybody dies. Fiery car accident. So there's no real resolution. There's no real winner loser. It's just everybody's fucking dead. But and by the way, aside from it just being a man like a trans story, a coming of age for a trans person,
Right.
um, no shame to that because there's a lot of those that are actually really good. Um, it's made by people who are French, who openly admitted to not doing any research about the Hispanic community that they were making the film based on, this Mexicans. So not only are they stereotyping every single character in the movie, they used AI to enhance vocalizations
Hmm.
and singing in the film and
Okay.
music. And Zoe Saldana won Best Supporting Actress for that role that she's in that movie.
Okay.
And before she won an award for it before the Oscars, and she said, before this movie, I was gonna quit acting because I didn't see a point anymore. And then she won an award and said, now now I like like I have a reason to act and bullshit.
Right.
And I'm paraphrasing, I'm not saying accurate, so if you guys want to come correct me, go ahead. I will acknowledge my wrongdoings in the next video. But it really kills me to see people like that in our industry as like role models for the future generation because you're just teaching them your worth, your what you're creating, the stories you're telling aren't worth anything if there's nothing to gain from it. And
Like,
it's like,
I'd rather win the award for like look, people who make short films nowadays or films. I mean, you can't. It's really hard to make a feature length film.
yeah,
But if I were to make a short film and then I put it out there at multiple festivals and I win at those festivals, it's better because I didn't sell out in any way, shape, or form. It was true to what I wanted to do. It was true to me, and it was true to everybody else in the movie.
yeah,
And that's the best kind of recognition you can get. You know, I don't care about the Oscars for a lot of reasons. Everybody knows it's just rigged, and there's plenty of other movies out there that is deserving of more acknowledgement, recognition. You know, these people have just done things to get themselves in those places.
yep,
Um, so like Nick is saying, like art is therapeutic. It's we kind of are art in our own selves. No, not
hmm
Art the clown, but we are pieces of art and works of art. There's a reason why Roman statues and Greek statues are beautiful and are still highly appraised and they're in museums. It's not because they're old. It's because they're wonderful and beautiful interpretations of the human body. And not
yes,
because they're different from the human body, but because they're so accurate to the human body. You know, and you know that's why you'll have people who are like, well, even guys, people like guys are chastised for like enjoying the look of a female body when all they're doing is just acknowledging the beauty, not in a
Mm.
perverted way, but simply appreciating every inch. You know, and I don't mean any sort of sexual insinuation here. I just mean we are pieces of art and we have artistic capabilities within us, and all we have to do is be true to that, and then make. And there's
No, I
always going
agree
to
with
be
that.
people who appreciate that. What are you going to say?
Yeah, I will say, we are speaking for ourselves in that aspect. Not all men look at women the same way. So we don't want to invalidate any women on here who may have felt that they've been looked at or seen as objects or sexualized by men, because it does happen.
Of course. That's
We
not the way. That's
ourselves,
not the way we're saying it either.
yeah, we just,
It's quite the contrary, actually.
yeah, because we could be as specific as possible. Someone is always going to take it some other way, but just
Yep.
to be in case we're going to put it out there, that's how we perceive things. That's how we see things. We're not looking at it always like, huh, let me tap that. No,
No,
but
it's like, oh, dude, that's hot. It's like, no, like that's a beautiful woman.
hmm
And God
and
does, God's creation is amazing.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah, and in contrast to Zoe Saldana, who said all that shit recently, someone who I've really admired as an actor, as creative, is Charlie Cox. He is in Daredevil Born Again now. It's a first season. It's a reboot of the original show, continuation of the original show. But if you watch his interviews, he's reading the comics. He's learning and trying to be as authentic as possible in his performance. Not only not because he wants to win an award, or not because he wants to get praise, because he wants to do justice for the character and for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Everything he does, he pushes because he understands from a fan point of view what we want or what the fans want, and he does it that. And Daredevil Born Again had shot 6 episodes before it shut down because of a strike. Once Marvel came back to see how the episodes were, Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio voiced very big concerns, saying this is not the original recipe that we had before. This is completely different. There's elements missing that are important that not only the fans are going to notice, it's something that we feel is an injustice to the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those type of people those type of actors, those type of creatives who genuinely and truly appreciate the work they're doing. I aspire to be like in the people I respect.
Right. Honest,
Don't do it
true.
for a materialistic item that you're just gonna put on a shelf.
Right.
Like that has little worth in comparison to, like Jacob said, going to festivals, going to premieres, and like actually being heard by your peers.
I'll
And
give one example, and we can move on.
yeah.
One example is that when we first made the doc, back in like 2015, I think it was, 2016, we had received an email from somebody, and Nick had caught the email like a couple years too late, I would say,
Oh yeah.
because it was like one of his first emails that was associated with our YouTube channel. But go see the doc for context. Link in the description. I'll put it at the end as well.
Yes.
Essentially, just a quick synopsis before we get back into the monkey. I kind of took things that were going on in my life and the thoughts and feelings and emotions that I had at the time and just kind of put it into a fictional story. And about 85 to 90% of that story was true to my own psyche and consciousness and to myself. And, this character is going through a lot. He's dealing with things. He's depressed and working through things, and he's trying to find hope again. And, if you go watch it, you'll see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And we had received an email from somebody basically saying, like, I just want to let you guys know that tonight I was going to go in my garage and hang myself and kill myself. But I then watched your short film, and I decided not to do that. And I just wanted to send you an email to tell you that I'm grateful and just to let you guys know, essentially. And we had seen that email like, a couple of years after we came out with that short film. And we replied back. I don't think, I had told Nick like throughout, years ago, like to keep checking to see if he ever replied. He never did. I hope that he's alive and healthy. But that is worth more than any damn award.
Yeah.
That we could ever receive. Just
100%.
to save a life. And me and Nick are very familiar with, I guess, the suicidal world or the world of suicide. Like, I mean, I'm not saying necessarily on ourselves, but in terms of like knowing people and dealing with people and helping people through those kind of things. But that's the best kind of reward you can get from a work of art, is to help people get through life and to show them a greater appreciation for it, and let them live one day more. One day more.
Leave like some kind of impact
Yes.
that changes them to like changes their outlook or perspective or life to some degree.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, back to the monkey.
Yeah.
Solid.
Solid.
I don't think there's like much more to say. I mean, I guess we could talk about some of the kills, but I think the one thing I wanted to say before is like you see the scene when they're driving in the car and everybody's dying around them, and they're acting nonchalant because once again they kind of came to terms with the fact that death is going to always be around them and they're always going to have to deal with it, and that it's normal. And now they both, well, primarily Hal, he's just accepted it for what it is.
Yeah, like the mom said. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Like the mom said, everybody dies. Some of us peacefully and in our sleep, and some of us horribly.
Yeah.
And that's life.
Yep. Now let's go dancing.
Now let's go dancing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's honestly beautiful. I dig that.
That was really good.
Yeah. So this goes to show, like, you know, that's why I like this film the most, is because of those elements of it, you know. Some films try so damn hard to put things like that into perspective. Like, there are films that are very heavy, and I don't mean that in terms of, like, what happens in the movie, but dense in terms of what's, you know, trying to be shown and presented. Like, Crimes of the Future, for example. I really enjoyed that movie. Not from, like, a pace point of view, not from, like, purely a directing point of view, but because of what it was trying to do. For what it was trying to show you in the human element and what the future could have in store. You know, that's a very heavy and dense movie that you can watch a few times and further evaluate and find things you didn't see before. And then you have The Monkey, which is like you watch it once and you get your fill and you're good, you know. But it's still it still has its metaphorical instances and it still has its density that you can gratefully identify and appreciate. And if you're criticizing the film because of how simple it is, that's not the point. You know, some films are meant to be denser than others, but the density of this film could be much more appreciated by somebody than, you know, Crimes of the Future. You know, like, I know you weren't very fond of Crimes of the Future as a film, but I know that you can appreciate what it's trying to do.
The overall message I respect.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, you're not going to go out of your way to watch it again, you know?
Oh, fuck no.
I might, for sure. I think I would, actually. But I think I would probably go out of my way to go watch Crimes again than The Monkey, but you're probably the other way around. You'd probably see The Monkey again before you see Crimes.
Most likely, I would see The Monkey again, yeah.
Yeah, but we can still, as people, like, discern and be like, okay, yeah, they both have their point. They both have their value, and they both have their place in cinema.
Yeah, of course.
So, I don't think... I'm probably forgetting a few things. You know, aside from... I guess another element could be like when he's worshiping the monkey and the spirit that surrounds it, and he's praying to it.
He has like a throne made for it.
Yeah, he's kind of got like almost like a
VHS setup.
Well, yeah, but also it's kind of like a temple. It's kind of like a pyramid.
It is, and he's at the top.
What is the what in the old culture of pagans? What were the temples called? I forget.
I don't know.
Like the Mayans. It was
I'm
called.
not sure.
I think it started with a G. Let's see, real quick.
Yeah, no, I can't think of it.
Yeah, I think it was just pyramids.
Okay.
Ziggurats.
So yeah, there was a G in there.
Yeah, there's two G's. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of like a ziggurat or just a pyramid, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, he still hasn't moved on from his childhood, and that's prevalent by him still wearing his childhood suit. You know, his funeral suit from when he was a kid. But this time, instead of trying to be like, I'm never going to take it off because another funeral's going to happen, and if I take it off, then I have to put it back on for the next funeral. So I'd rather just keep it on for the next funeral. In this sense, he's actually embracing it, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna cause death. I am death.
Yeah.
Destroyer of worlds. Oppenheimer. Yeah.
I'm a bitch.
The film's boring to me. I'm sorry for anybody who
Oppenheimer?
enjoyed it. Yeah.
You thought it was boring?
I was falling asleep in the theater, man.
You just had a long night.
I'm a Barbie guy. Sorry, I'm a Barbie guy.
He's a Barbie boy.
That's right. I'm just Ken.
Just Ken.
Everywhere else I'd be a 10, you know. I've put that track on multiple times in the car and blasted it with the windows down and sang to it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm proud of it.
Okay.
I'm not proud of it, you know.
Yeah, man.
To each their own. To each their own.
Teach their own. It is what it is.
It is what it is. But obviously, him as a kid, he can't get over it, and in fact, actually entertains his trauma and tries to go through it in an evil way, in a painful way. And you know, there are people out there like serial killers who have gone through trauma when they were kids, and then it manifests when they're older, and then we see their violent crimes, and that's how they cope with it, by committing crimes and onto others. You know.
Exactly.
So I mean, I really don't have much. I don't have much more to say about this review. Honestly, it's probably gone a little bit more over than it should have.
But you know,
good first fun.
Good first back.
Good first back. Yeah.
Any
closing thoughts?
I don't think I have anything else to say aside from like I definitely recommend going and seeing it blind. It's a fun time, and if you like Divergent, you'll like this.
If you like Divergent.
Yeah.
I read the books, and I don't think I ever saw any of the movies.
I remember the first thing that happened when we were sitting in the theater. I looked to my right and see Tiff. She just go, "Oh my god, he's in this!" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "He's from the Divergent." I'm like, "Oh shit!" And she just went over like, I was like, "Stop it! We're in public."
I think for me, Oz Perkins, he's a bit on the older side. He's little my dad's age. He's like 50.
Damn.
But the man's got a lot of potential. I understand his first film that he came out with, his feature film was at least The Black Coat's Daughter.
Yeah.
He has nothing else listed as a director before that. But, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he has in the store.
Was that really his first film?
Black Coat's Daughter, yeah. 2015.
No way.
Yep. Again, there's no shorts listed or anything, so he could have done some stuff before, but it's not presented in any way, shape, or form that he has done anything else.
Yeah,
I'd have to look it up, but...
Oh, yeah. Black Coat's Daughter was fucking dope, though.
Oh, yeah. But, fun little work for Osgood. I think it was like little side things, like, I want to do this. And he did it, and it was fun. And it's got its own stuff. And it is what it is, and I enjoyed it. A couple other things. I think there was the one scene with the babysitter, and I think she was supposed to be like a teen, but she looked like she was like 27.
Yeah, she looked really fucked up, man.
She looked like she was like 27, 29 years old, and like I don't know if he was going for like a high school teen, but she looked much older than a high schooler.
Yeah, babysitter Annie.
Yeah. And if I were to have like a death that was like weird, it would have been that one, because like if you ever go to like a hibachi grill, it's kind of hard. It's a far reach for the knife.
No, yeah, that was what caught me off guard. I think it slipped out of his hand maybe or something. I don't even know.
I think so. I think
but it was insane.
Clean cut.
Straight up.
Yeah. Another note is that Osgood wanted to do something like kind of like. He wanted to make like a Hollywood horror film, kind of like Gremlins, kind of like Werewolf in London. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't paying attention to physics. He just wanted to make like kind of a typical kind of feel, horror slasher kind of movie. There's nothing, he did admit like there's nothing thrilling. There's not like a thriller. It's not like scary, but it is a horror movie. But he wasn't taking it as seriously as people might have been wanting to take it. So that's another thing. And you can kind of, I felt that. I felt like it was very self-evident to be not taken too seriously, apart from the comedy, of course.
Yeah, his whole like just when you see his name and you're like if you know his work, you immediately think this is gonna be fucking nuts. It's gonna be
Right.
intense.
Yeah. All right, so let's do some fun facts, then we'll wrap it up with some ratings. So, according to the director, the decision to have the monkey bang a drum instead of cymbals was due to the rights of the cymbal banging version being owned by the Walt Disney Company, as the toy had appeared as a character in Toy Story 3,
Fucking
which is
bastards.
yeah, right. Which is ironic because the cymbal monkey was in Toy Story 3 in the first place because its director Lee Unkrich is a fan of Stephen King. So like the dude who put in the cymbal monkey for
Mm.
Disney liked Stephen King's The Monkey, but now you can't use the cymbal monkey because it's owned by Disney.
Fuck Disney.
The irony.
Fuck Disney.
Um, it's on, and the short story is called Skeleton Crew.
Uh,
Uh, Following the Stephen King tradition, the majority of the movie is set in a town in Maine. Oscar Perkins revealed that his approach to the material, quote, I took liberties like a motherfucker. They, them being Atomic Monster, the studio, had a very serious script. Very serious. I felt it was too serious, and I told them, this doesn't work for me. The thing with this toy monkey is that the people around it all die in insane ways. So I thought, well, I'm an expert on that. Both my parents died in insane headline making ways.
wow.
I spent a lot of my life recovering from tragedy, feeling quite bad. It all seemed inherently unfair. You personalize the grief. Why is this happening to me? But I'm older now, and you realize this shit happens to everyone. Everyone dies. Sometimes in their sleep, sometimes in truly insane ways, like I experienced. But everybody dies. And I thought maybe the best way to approach that insane notion is with a smile. I like that.
That's cool.
It adds an element to it. I never knew about that when it came to his own story, but you can see that being shown on screen. You know,
Yeah.
I thought that's pretty cool. There's a character referred to in this movie as Torrance, alluding to the Torrance family in The Shining.
Dick.
Oscar Perkins chose to give the film comedic elements because he thought it would be more fitting for a film about a toy, and he wanted to distinguish the monkey from more serious horror films about possessed toys. Perkins further stated that the comedy in the film intentionally avoids subtlety and makes use of extreme gore to joke about the absurdity, pointlessness, and randomness of death.
Mm.
The hotel sign, "Don't feed after midnight," is a reference to Gremlins.
Fuck yeah.
Yep. Go check out our Gremlins review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know it's good for you.
Adam Scott plays the father of Hal and Bill, who was a pilot. He also starred in the Twilight Zone remake of Nightmare at 30,000 Feet as the frightened passenger.
Wait, is that the one where the guy in the plane sees the devil outside the window?
Maybe. But it would make sense because, he was a pilot and was using the Twilight Zone show. And perhaps maybe that was the episode that he directed, Oscar, maybe.
Okay.
Some spoiler fun facts. At the babysitter's funeral, it is revealed her name is Annie Wilkes. This is the name as Kathy Bates' character from Misery, 1990. Also written by Stephen King, who wrote the short story this film was based on.
That's dope.
In the Stephen King short story, many of the character names and town names are the same, but the events and tone are much different. The story is played serious. Hal and Bill aren't twins, but younger, older brothers by several years. Hal is married, father of 2. The death count is at least 10. The father, the mom, Uncle Will, Aunt Jada, Johnny McCabe, Beulah, McCaffrey, Charlie Silverman, Junkman, a dog, a cat, plus, quote, many more, according to the monkey. At the end of the film, Bill is killed with the bowling ball that Hal fantasized about killing him with as a child.
Sick.
And the last one, from the very start of the film, people insist that the monkey is not referred to as a toy. Near the end, Bill refers it to a toy, foreshadowing his death when he gets decapitated by a bowling ball.
Damn.
I guess that's why he died.
Talk shit, get hit.
That's right. So yeah, I mean, solid film. It could be a one-time watch for anybody, and I think for me, I would definitely watch it again. I don't know if I would watch it like again anytime soon, but I think for the sake of Oscar Perkins and me kind of enjoying his work and seeing where his work is going, I think I would definitely watch it again just for the hell of it. As of right now, I gave it a 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to keep it there. I'm not sure though. I think I might bump it up to 3.5.
Let me see what
You gave it a 3.5.
I gave it 3.5.
Yeah.
I did give it 3.5.
But yeah, I think I'll bump it up for 3.5 just as an appreciation for what the director was going for.
Yeah.
And I will also like it. Letterboxd. That brings us to our last segment. We do have a tier list here at Based on Cinema. We have a standard and also a horror tier list. So the tier list goes as follows, starting from the bottom. Salt and Burn It. Shout out to any Supernatural fans. Straight to the Grave. So Bad It's Good. Put It on a Shirt. Scarred for Life. Therapy Required.
Put on a shirt.
Put It on a Shirt. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
It just goes, I think it's definitely not so bad it's good because it's not bad. I don't think it, again, there's not a horror/terror element to it that like will scar you.
Yeah.
I guess besides like some of the death scenes, but
Ooh, the beehive death scene would scar me for life. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I hate that.
But I think
But
put it on
overall,
a shirt.
put on a shirt.
Yeah, it just carries that. I think if you wear that shirt, like you get the essence of it. If you've seen it, like you can understand like why it is the way that it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, any closing thoughts?
Mm,
I'm good.
I want a monkey.
On.
Yeah.
Yeah. I technically have one. My mom, I got her the Phantom of the Opera monkey with the symbols, so.
Holy shit.
I could just, curse that one if I wanted to, and
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Just summon a demon to live inside of it, and you should be fine. You should be fine. Nothing wrong. Then gift it to somebody.
Right. So that's it from us today. I think we're gonna try to do Hard Eyes next. Keep a lookout for that. I think we're gonna try to do that for next week. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to talk about Hard Eyes because it's another slasher movie that's out there, and the slasher genre is being rejuvenated right now. And I think, what's up?
There's a movie I wanted to watch with you. It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon. Let me find it. Fuck. Okay, wait, I got it. It's called. I didn't save it. I'm stupid. Missing Couple, found footage movie.
Ooh, I like found footage movies.
Mm-hmm. It's got
Go ahead.
3.5 stars on
What's it
Amazon.
called?
Missing Couple.
Me and Nick are a big fan of found footage movies.
It's hard to come by good ones.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely watch it though.
I'm down to watch that one with you if you want.
I'm down. And I actually just finished technically a analog horror / found footage kind of esque thing.
Is it called?
Let me see if I could find it. But do you know who Alex Kister is?
Sounds familiar.
But he's been making a series of videos. It's called the Mandela Catalog.
I think I've heard of it.
But very good stuff, guys. If you like some low budget but really well done horror movies, like analog horror type stuff, go check out Alex Kister on YouTube. I really, really dig his stuff. Nick?
On Letterboxd.
It's on Letterboxd?
Mm-hmm. It has volume 1 on Letterboxd, 22-1-2.
Oh, sick. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to list all those off, but Nick, definitely watch it. It's got, honestly, and I think we should still review this film.
Yeah.
It feels like Skinamarink ripped it off.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The Mandela catalog?
Yep. Skinamarink ripped it off. I will
Bet.
put money on that.
I'm
But
down.
I think we should still talk about Skinamarink. I will actually rewatch it for a third time because it was that much better when you're alone
Yeah.
watching it in isolation. But we'll talk about that. I will do that movie with you next week if you wanted to, because Hard Eyes, we got to wait till it comes out on demand. If you want to do Skinamarink,
Yeah.
I know it's a tough watch, but I think if you watch it isolated all the way through with the subtitles on, it's a big help.
All right.
All right. That's it for Based on Cinema today. The Monkey, check it out for yourself. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Keep a lookout for those daily shorts. We're posting 2 a day. And we're going to be posting next week, 1 movie every week. We're going to do our best. And
Damn straight.
that's it for Based on Cinema. Peace.
Peace out.